my 40th anniversary. I opened Champion School of Real Estate in 1983 at the beginning of a down market. And we have grown Champion School of Real Estate over these 40 years to be the largest real estate school in Texas, if not the USA. Large only means something if you can also put quality in every category. Quality teachers, quality textbooks, wonderful career counselors, technology that is up to date, new and trendy, brick and mortar buildings that are beautiful, our fantastic virtual online classroom, as well as online delivery systems. When I opened Champion School of Real Estate in 1983, it was a huge leap of faith. We were in a down cycle. What I've learned through our up and down cycles is that there's always a need for real estate, and people are always ready to buy residential, investment properties, buildings, warehouses, and the down cycle will soon move to an up cycle. I know for a fact that Champion School of Real Estate was built one person at a time, the way every residential, commercial property manager, loan officer, appraiser, inspector builds their business. Thanks to our many employees at Champion School of Real Estate, our fantastic teachers, our very successful students, we have the growth that we have had and enjoyed these 40 years in business. Happy birthday to Champion School of Real Estate. Good morning. I'm Rita Santa Maria, and I'm the owner and founder of Champion School of Real Estate, and so excited to be celebrating 40 years in business this year.
That's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
That
I am absolutely amazed. It just seems like, a short time ago that happened.
looked like yesterday, I bet.
It does. It really does.
Man.
And today I want you to meet a very fine gentleman, and his name is Ayodeji
Ayodeji.
He's been helping me with this, but I'm going to get it down myself. Ayodeji, and it's Bamijoko, right?
That's correct.
Bamijoko. Okay. Now, the really sweet part of this man is he said, but I go by DJ, so I can handle that.
Yes, you make it easy for you when you say
Easier. Thank you.
life is not that complicated. Just take it easy. That's correct.
So today I have this wonderful, I want to say fairly new student, in that he got licensed just a year and 8 months ago.
That's correct. January 2022.
January 2022, which indeed was just a very short time ago. And with DJ, he was with an oil and gas company, and I was telling him, we always know that the economy, when it goes south with oil and gas, is a good and a bad thing. Overall, it's a bad thing, but for Champion School of Real Estate, it's a good thing.
Because you have people coming in.
We do.
Yeah.
We have wonderful, nice people like you that walk in the door and say, I'm ready to change careers. Oh my goodness, we had a bunch of those in 2020 with COVID. But he actually thought about real estate in 2015.
That's correct.
But didn't act upon it until
2021 when I started.
2021 when you took the classes. So today I want you to get to know a gentleman who is from Nigeria, and he's going to tell you how he managed to truly move to the top of the leaderboard in a short time. And first of all, we're always so proud that you are a champion.
Yes.
And always it is so inspiring for our students to know that here's a gentleman from another country, and yet I was excited when you told me that you got your master's degree from Oklahoma State University.
That's right.
He's a cowboy.
Cowboy, go folks. Yes, man. Cowboy.
I can't even imagine the change in the terrain and the atmosphere when you went from Nigeria to OSU? Was there any place in between?
When I first came in, I arrived in a place in a small city in Minneapolis.
Okay.
They call it Blaine. I was there for about 3 days, but it was cold. Just imagine coming in from Africa and you find yourself in a very cold environment. But fortunately for me, I have family friends in Baltimore.
Okay.
Give them a call, and they were so grateful to get me on the plane and get me into Baltimore. So I was in Baltimore for a little bit. I think a period of 8 months before I went to Oklahoma State to pursue my master's degree.
And that in itself is a transition
It is a
from
transition.
Baltimore to OSU.
Yeah, I mean,
Stillwater, Oklahoma, right?
Stillwater, Oklahoma, yes. Stillwater, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma people. In fact, we have continuing education for Oklahoma, the Champion School of Real Estate.
Yeah, you mentioned that, and that's very inspiring. To be honest with you, that's very inspiring. Yes, ma'am. That's very inspiring.
Well, we're going to sort of start at the beginning with DJ, and I really want you to tell us. First of all, you're with Fairdale Realty in Katy.
Yes, ma'am.
And when we were talking earlier, I love it that you told how when you were first laid off with the oil and gas in 2015, how did you have a defining moment that you were going to move from being very analytical on the oil side to moving into sales? How did that happen for you?
So, in 2015, there was a major recession in the oil and gas sector, and I got on the shopping block. I was let go. So, of course, you get some savings. I had proud savings and a little bit of severance, and I was trying to figure out exactly what to do. Like I mentioned to you, I went to Toyota of Kerry, to get some part, for my car, and
Yes.
I met a Nigerian there, and we just got talking. I like to wear African attire a lot, so I get easily.
He's a very friendly guy.
Yes, ma'am. So, and it was, it just started the conversation, and we got to like, okay, it was like, what do I do? And I told him, well, I just got laid off. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Then he told me about, yeah, you want to come sell Toyota? And, I said, why not? Then I give it a shot. And when I was there, I think 2 weeks into my employment with Toyota of Katy, when I woke up, one of the mornings before I got out of the house, I was looking into on the showroom, and I found out that my current broker had visited the showroom to buy a car. And I called him up. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" I walk over there. I didn't get to see hello to you. So it was like, "Why don't you come sell real estate?" And that was when I first heard about the possibility of actually, venturing into real estate. And then we got into talking, but I couldn't do it at that point in time, and I got called back. In the oil and gas, I went back, and I never looked back, or think about real estate again until 2020 when I got laid off.
Well, as we were mentioning when I was getting to know a little bit more about DJ, and he was saying, which we know as well at Champions. I mean, it makes sense, unfortunately, that our oil and gas companies have to lay off, but they do give severance. Many of them, those that are laid off, will come to Champions to either get real estate loan appraisal inspection, but without question, just like with you, they offered insurance. You were wanting to start a family with your wife, and so it made sense to go back. But then COVID happened, and then COVID, we got you.
It was one of the redefining moments in history. When COVID came, nobody was prepared for that. Yes, ma'am.
So you got your hours, and I understand right now you are expecting a child sometime this year, correct?
No, it's going to be sometimes next year.
Next year. Okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so much
for that.
I appreciate you.
And then that smart broker that you actually reached out to, I think that had to really impress him, that you reached out to him, and then he said, "What are you doing selling cars? Why don't you think about real estate?"
I mean, I'm so glad that I actually made a call. We've been acquaintances over the years. Of course, we met at social engagement, and we never talk about the business side of real estate. To be honest with you, until I made a call that morning, and like I said, I'm glad I did, and everything is history. I've been, when I got my license, I just went straight to the brokerage to work. I knew exactly what I was going to do.
Yeah. Did you take your classes in the classroom, online, virtual? Which direction did
I
you go?
took my classes in the classroom on the West Campus.
Perfect. So you were at Houston West
Yes, ma'am.
and took it in the classroom, and we were talking about the fact that it's just really so inspiring for so many people from other countries because DJ said he took the courses, he took the prep, passed, got his license.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm so happy to hear when you said you took the prep, because just an aside for all of our students watching today in the classroom, the prep takes a little bit of the stress out of going to the actual national state exams.
That's correct.
And we always recommend that you take it at least twice. And here's a gentleman where everything was obviously new and different, and yet passed, got your license.
That's correct.
But tell them about, if you would, how you set up your information to help new people that may not be familiar with the whole sales process. How do you teach your buyers and sellers what's going to happen?
Well, first of all, when I have a client, because you're gonna have different type of client. You're gonna have first time home buyers, you're gonna have second time home buyers, you're gonna have investors. So the different. I mean, the one. I mean, the categories of the buyers that always struggle with different questions is always the first time home buyers. Right. What I do with them is that I bring them into my office and I give them a kind of layout. Tell you, okay, these are the expectations from the beginning to the end. We have to first get pre-qualified, because one thing I know, one thing I've come to notice is that people, a lot of us in the business, we tend to assume that a lot of our buyers know stuff, but people just don't know.
They don't know.
And some people just find it very, they find it very, I don't want to use the word difficult, but they kind of find it somehow to want to keep asking questions about the game. They don't want to feel somehow. Right. But I always tell them, man, you have to relax, ask questions as much as you can. You can, the bad questions are the ones that I never ask. You always have to ask questions, and I make sure that they're very comfortable with me. Right. So I bring them in, let them know, okay, the first thing we have to do is to get qualified.
Pre-qualified,
Yes,
pre-approved.
Pre-qualified, pre-approved. Then we need to have that letter from a mortgage broker that, okay, you can buy up to so and so amount. Then from there, they obtain that. Then we know, okay, the next thing is to go look for a house. If you're looking for a resale, what zip code, what's more important to you? Is it the schools? What are the age of the kids and things like that. So we just go, I just go from one step to the other without missing anything. And I find out that, if you spend time with your client, they become part of you, they become part of your family. And at the end of the day, the trust, start to grow from there. Because I mean, at the end of the day, they're sharing a lot of personal things with you. You got to know about their finances, about their income and things like that.
Get to know each other.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Definitely, man. So, and at the end of the day, we go through the transactions, they close, and of course, the biggest they always come. That is the day of closing, when keys are being exchanged, right? So you see the happiness in their faces, and just go back to the next client and do the same things over and over again. Yes, man.
DJ was saying that without question, we know it is like the biggest investment most people will make is their home.
Definitely.
You know that when they walk into your office, you're the one that carries all of sort of the secret recipe on how to get from point A to point Z, so they get the keys in their hand.
Yes, ma'am.
And I love it that you told me how the first thing you do is just bring them into your office, sit them down and say, now, I want to tell you the whole process. so that it's not like a mystery, so that you're not fearful.
Yes, ma'am.
And if all of us would just take the time to do that with people, whether it's their second purchase or their first purchase or their fifth purchase, just reminding them how we're going to get there.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us your feeling about the importance of the lender.
The lending part is the part that is very critical, because without the money, you cannot get the keys at the end of the day. And there are so many fragments into that. Your credit, the income, your debt profile, your debt portfolio, vis-a-vis, the income they bring in, the marriage status, because I mean, Texas is a family state, you got to know all that. So I always make sure to, I always make sure to educate my client that at the end of the day, you cannot buy what more than you can afford. Because the one thing I don't
You may
want,
want it,
you may want it.
but you may not qualify.
Everybody wants champagnes.
More.
Everybody want to drink champagne, but not everybody's got the budget for champagne.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, at the end of the
You may be
day,
drinking a beer, not champagne,
that's correct, man. So, and
but
and
enjoying it.
you do enjoy. At the end of the day, contentment is, it's always the key.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, so I want to make sure that, hey, listen, in this zip code or in this community, the price point of these, the price point of these, the price point of these. As a first time home buyer, Rome was not built in a day, right? The more you advance in your career,
Exactly.
the better you become in terms of finances. You get more races and things getting
Or
better.
right. You're saying start with this house.
Yes, ma'am.
It may not be the champagne house you're
No,
looking for
definitely.
with all the extras, but start with this house. Make your payments timely,
Yes,
build your credit, get your promotions at work.
Yes, ma'am.
And for you, the agent, you will obviously stay in touch with them.
Yes, ma'am.
And then you move with them every 3 to 4 years as they move up to that champagne home.
That's correct. And
And you
again,
explain that to them?
that's exactly what I do tell them. And at the end of the day, too, there's a saying that's woman wants are insatiable. If your goal, if what you can afford today is $1 million, if you start living in the house of $1 million, tomorrow you find out that you need something else. That's woman's for you. Unfortunately, we always want more, right?
That's true too.
And that's why, thank God for the country we have. Any potentials are unlimited. There are so many opportunities out there where you can always improve on yourself and be able to have additional income to the family. And as a result of that, dreams do come true. That's why I keep telling people. And I'm like, okay, well, if you want to start living in Memorial, you have to start, building,
Right.
with the
Somewhere.
intention
Mhm.
of getting to Memorial someday.
Exactly.
You just don't wake up and achieve
Yes,
that.
he's speaking about a very upscale neighborhood
Yes,
in
ma'am.
Houston.
Yes, ma'am.
And certainly, as you said, if your intention is to live in the upscale neighborhood, no matter where it is, you need to start somewhere.
Definitely.
And as a new person during that counseling session with your buyers, they're going to give you that list of everything they want.
That's correct.
And then you come back and say, but what do you need?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you need? You want the big pool, you want the spa with it, you want, but what do you actually have? What are your needs? And then go with exactly what the loan officer says you're pre-qualified
That's correct, ma'am.
to purchase.
At the end of the day, I mean, this is a fact that this is a fact that cannot go away overnight, right? So, there are needs, just like you said, and there are wants, right? What are the things that are of most priority? You know what I'm saying? Because, everybody, most of my clients sometimes, they want the Taj Mahal, they want everything.
We all want the Taj Mahal.
But at the end of the day, sometimes, the reality of this Taj Mahal might not be now. It might be 5 or 10 years down the line.
Exactly.
But the most important thing is that you want to start. That's why I keep telling
to
you.
start
The
establishing credit.
yes, man. The only bad investment in real estate you don't make is if you don't start.
Ooh, I love that point.
If you don't start, and again in real estate, time is everything. I remember when I got out of college in 2010, we didn't look. We thought the world is going to collapse. That's when we have the economic recession. In some places in the up north, they were selling houses for nothing. They're practically begging people to stay in their homes. Hey, don't go. And people thought life is going to end. No, it's never going to end. When I bought my first home in Houston in 2015, actually, we thought the prices were higher then. Everybody that waited since then now got to pay double for the same house we bought back in 2015.
Exactly, because of appreciation.
Yes, ma'am. So the only mistake you make is when you don't start.
DJ, I'm going to repeat that again, but actually it sounds better coming from you. So look right at our students and tell them the only mistake they make is what?
The only mistake you make in real estate is when you don't start.
Is when you don't
You got to start. These days people are talking about rates. I was told back in the days that rate is always next normal, like in the double digits. And we're so fortunate in our days that rates are like 3, when during COVID in like 2% or something.
Exactly. They were giveaway money.
They were giving them money.
And they're still wonderful at 6 to 7%.
Yes, ma'am.
There's still wonderful rates and allows you just have to decide what neighborhood am I going to start in. And as I'm in this neighborhood, I'm going to make my yard look pristine. I'm going to work in it.
That's correct.
I'm going to keep everything painted, up to date, look pretty and clean. And then in 3 years, I can put it on the market.
Yes, ma'am.
It's going to appreciate and then go to the next one.
That's correct.
So starting out as a brand new agent, well, first of all, I want to say it's obvious you like finance. And when I was asking you a little bit earlier, what was your favorite course at Champions?
Finance.
And he said finance. And then, of course, it's mandatory to get your license. You need all 6 basic courses, one of those being finance. We also now have an SAE course that also is on finance, because that's really the key that unlocks the door to do whatever you want.
Exactly.
And you really want to know how that works.
Exactly. And that comes from the angle of financial discipline, unlike some part of Africa where I come from, like, everything you do is all about cash, but it's a different system, right? And most of the things we do here is by credit systems, right? So you have to start by ensuring and intention about your credit. The credit has to be good. The better your credit, the more negotiation ability you have, in the financial market.
Exactly.
And of course, if the credit is challenging, then the product that will be available might be a little bit, expensive. But at the end of the day, too, the problem whether you are on the lower end of the credit spectrum or on the higher end of the credit spectrum, the only problem you're going to have is when you don't start. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter whether you have a 620 credit score or 630 credit score, as long as you have a bank or a mortgage company that will pick you up there and you can do the payment. I advise you to start doing it. And
the mantra out of this interview is going to be, the only mistake you make is when you don't start. You've said that multiple times, and I love it. That's very, very inspiring on every level. And you also made another good point in that many countries, including Africa, cash basis is obviously where people operate. And yet you made the very fine point, in the US, we very much look to credit. So for those of you that are still operating on a cash basis, that's super and great. It means you're good savers. But go out, buy something on credit so that you can start a credit history, and get at least a credit card so that you start a credit history.
That's right.
Now, you told me at the beginning that you're a sociable person. You like to socialize. Starting out brand new, let us know, what did you do to get started?
So, to get started, like I said, I had a career before I start real estate. And pretty much I don't burn bridges. I keep all my friends, they're all dear to me. acquaintance,
Beverages.
never burn bridges. Everybody is important. Like one of my bosses would say, you need everybody. You need the lazy ones, you need the greatest hard worker out there. Everybody is important. You can't write anybody off.
Everybody.
Yes, ma'am. Can't write everybody off. So when I started, the first thing I do was to pick my phone and make sure I talk to all my circle folks. That's where I started from. Of course, because I know in real estate, you don't know what that one client can do. One client can become 20 clients. 20
Exactly.
refers to you. That's the key. I mean, the key is that everybody is important. Personally, I've leveraged on relationship that I have with people. Like I told you, I've never started any social media platforms on these. It's
That totally shocked me. I'm going to repeat that statement because this afternoon, an interview that I'm doing, two guys out of Prosper, Texas, to jumpstart their career, which again, same time that you started.
yes.
They jump-started their career using nothing but YouTube. And I want you to hear what DJ said in that he uses no social platform.
I'm not.
Okay, go forward.
So, one good thing about the US that I've noticed is that the opportunities are enormous and they are very endless. They are unlimited, right? I see people beating themselves up, like have to have the best videos. To me, it's important, but it doesn't matter. I've done it. All I do is just, phone calls, talking to people. When I go out, I make sure I talk to everybody that I met. Like, hey, this is what I do for a living. If you have any questions, my call, give me a call, and the phone rings. And like I told you, I'm in the process of getting somebody to help on the social media aspect of it. Of course, I know it's going to be a plus to it, but you don't necessarily need it to be able to scale in this business.
And this is just my curiosity.
Yes.
When you say you call, are you saying you text or you literally call?
I pick up my phone and call them.
Awesome.
I started, people in my network, like I said, and I make sure I tell them, hey, tell the nice guy, this is what I do. And I take pride in it, and like I told you, one thing I've enjoyed about real estate is the ability to be able to connect with people, to be able to know people more. It gives you the ability to socialize more, because every of my clients that I've dealt with, they become families at the end of the day, and I take them, to my heart. They be out to me anytime. I told them, call me anytime. Yeah.
I think the other thing that is so very important for our new students to hear as well, your center of influence was not that huge. You had a center of influence that you worked,
Right.
but your goal was to always be seen, start conversation. Here's my business card. And if you have any real estate needs, give me a call.
And I answer the question. It doesn't matter whether they're working with an agent or not. I answer. It doesn't matter. That's like, I tell them, just give me a call. If you have questions, if I don't know, I'll go find out for you. Nobody's an island of knowledge, right? If I don't know, I go look it up. I had people, mentors that have been in the business for a minute, I ask them and they be able to answer me the question. And I go back to them and let them know.
Do you do any direct mail?
No.
Okay.
I do not do that.
So whenever you're thinking as a new person, what am I going to do? I'm not that great on social media, and that part we can train you at Champion School of Real Estate. And I know you're going to get more information, you said, but it's working for you, being on the personal side.
Yes, ma'am.
And then other people say, oh, I need to get involved in groups and I need to get involved. And yes, you do, because that's another way of being social, is making your circle of influence larger. And so what do you do literally on a day-to-day basis to get in front of people so they get to know this very smiling, kind gentleman that's going to always say, I'm in real estate. If you have any questions, call me. You're going to pick up the phone and answer. In fact, congratulations, because when I called you a while back to invite you to come in to be interviewed, he picked up the phone on about the second ring, and it was DJ. And I always ask, is it a good time to talk? And he said to me, can you call back a little bit later? Because he was doing something.
Yes, ma'am.
So, what do you do to get DJ out and about in front of people?
So when I go, I'm intentional about it. Sometimes I decide to stop by the store when I'm picking something up or not. I just walk up and talk to people, give them my card.
Okay.
Yes, I do that a lot. I go to parties a lot.
Okay. He goes to parties.
Yes,
All
I make
right.
sure at the party, everybody's having fun. I'm doing business as well. It's fun and business. Everybody,
Mhm.
I make sure that every opportunity, when I go out, I'm intentional about it. I go to the store,
You're intentional about
intentional
it.
about it. So I deliberate to go to the store, give out my cards. But at the
Mhm.
store, it doesn't matter whether Walmart, whether the Galleria, it doesn't matter. I
Mhm.
just make sure I give my card out. And if you have real estate needs, please give me a call.
So, we've not talked about this, and you may say, no, I don't do that. But if you're intentional, okay, at restaurants, they'll have a place to put your business card. If you're at Walmart, there's a bulletin board. If you're at Starbucks, there's a bulletin board. Are you one of those that put your card in different
No,
places?
I don't. I just
So
give it.
when you say intentional, explain what you mean by that.
I walk up to people. I give them my card personally.
Personally.
Personally, I never put my cards there because I'm not sure if that works because
Mhm.
I've gone to different restaurants.
Exactly.
I never picked anything up from that. So,
Right.
and especially this one
It
of
may get lost in that bowl.
definitely.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'm not. It probably work for some people.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure because I've never
Mhm.
tried it. But I, I always believe that when I have the conversation with you is direct, then I give them a card.
Well, I want to tell you that in 30 Days to Success, my book on
Yeah.
what to do your first 30 days in business, one of those days literally says the best approach to being new in the business is to be direct with personal. Impersonal is easier because that's direct mail.
Yes.
Impersonal is sending an email. But the personal always works better, and to have that voice to voice is absolutely the
Definitely.
best.
Definitely.
But you're proof positive of that because it has brought you to where you are in a short time.
Yeah, I mean, yes, ma'am. It works. I mean,
Mhm,
I want to believe that people appreciate the fact that you have the conversation with them, as a person.
mhm.
You know, I when I go into my own personal house, I rarely even go to pick up my mails on the mailbox because everything is automated via emails. So when I get into from the if I have to go to the mailbox and get my mails out, I don't look at any of those things. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Maybe it's worth it or not. I
It's
see,
working
and that's exactly what I'm
a
saying.
little bit.
Yes.
The direct mail works about 1 to 2% return. Personal contact, literally, what you're doing is over 80% versus the 2%. And the 2% costs a lot of money. So, what you want to do is combine everything you can combine.
Definitely.
And as well, that's why social media doesn't cost you much of anything. And that
Definitely.
works for a lot of people.
It does.
But I want to ask DJ, so what are your hobbies? What do you do when you're not working real estate? Or do they combine?
When I'm not working real estate, I like to play, lawn tennis.
Okay.
I love to play lawn tennis. If I'm not doing real estate,
Have you gotten into pickleball yet?
no,
No.
I'm not.
That's my new game.
Oh, okay. I've never done that.
Lawn tennis?
I do lawn tennis. Yes, I do lawn tennis. For the most part,
Yeah.
I play with group of friends, and
Awesome.
sometimes we turn it to a tournament, and just
So you're pretty good then if you're in a tournament.
I'm not the best in it, but I mean I could make some people lose the game. Yes,
He's not the best, but he can make some people lose a game.
definitely.
I think that's called winning, DJ.
Yeah, I make sure I make sure I win. I play hard and make sure I win.
So when you're with people, because there are many that are listening and watching, and they have the fear of saying, I'm in real estate. If there's anything you need, I can help you. You're not putting it right in their face, like instantly meeting them and saying, I am DJ and da, 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 I'm in real estate. I'm sure you get to know them first, talk with them a little bit,
right?
and it's a natural flow in the conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
It is.
Yes, ma'am.
So, are you a goal setter?
Yes, definitely. I mean, like if I mean goals gives direction. So I'm a goal setter. I want to make sure.
Do
I
you
mean,
write your goals or are they in your head?
I do both.
Okay.
I write them too, and some, I put them in my, commit them to my heart. I mean, one of my last 10 goal, of course, is to be a broker. I can't wait.
Perfect.
I can't wait.
Absolutely.
I can't
He
wait.
will be a broker
I can't wait.
because we have wonderful designation courses. The general public will ask you, "Are you a broker?" Because that's the only word they know.
Definitely.
And obviously, it takes a couple of years experience, and then it takes the education. Well, I'm gonna tell you in front of everybody, you already have the education.
Yes, ma'am.
What you'll just need is those to finish the year's
Yes,
experience,
ma'am.
and then you'll be a broker for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
When do you do your goals? Beginning of the year, during the year?
I do my goals beginning of the year, and I update them as the need arises, or
Mm,
as I imagine, envisage things.
mhm.
And speaking of goals, another thing is that to be a developer eventually. Yes, ma'am, to
Wonderful.
be a developer eventually, because I've seen a lot of disconnects in the way the buildings are set up here in the
Uh-huh.
US. It's such a diverse country, right? And I'm gonna just take Houston market, just as an example, right?
Mhm.
Houston is such a diverse city that you have people from all over the world, different
Exactly.
faces, different names, different, originalities, different cultures, subcultures, what have you.
Houston is very diverse.
Yes, ma'am. But one thing I
I
find
love
out,
it. Uh-huh.
yes, ma'am. One thing I find out from builder to builder is that, especially I'm not talking about the, I'm not talking about buildings that are custom made. I'm talking about the general one for that's available to an average American,
Are you
right?
talking like a production building?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
the new constructions, even the
Yes.
resale we have.
Mhm.
I found out that they are almost the same layout. That's something I found out. You go in, you have the living room space, you have probably, the formal dining, you have the office, if they have it, then you have the open ceiling, whatever you want to have. Then the kitchen sometimes a little bit shocking,
Mhm.
and a little bit small depending
Mhm.
on the size of the home.
Mhm.
I mean, my goal is to find a way to bring excitement, something different, in the game on the long run, right? And that include, especially for, on the kitchen side, to make it a little bit, bigger, because
Exactly.
to
You're
make
saying for so many different families, countries, so much of the whole family gathering is the kitchen.
that's well,
So much of the entertaining is the kitchen.
that's correct,
So to be able to take what we call maybe a production builder where you have plan 1, 2, or 3, A, B, or C.
that's correct.
You're saying you would like it to be where it could be more personalized based on what the family needs.
Yes. If you look at the market, you find out that there's so many things that still have to be
Mhm,
done. It's a wonderful market, and it's opening up every day. You know what I'm saying? And like I told you, my long time goal is to eventually be a developer. I will put buildings on the ground for people to buy. That's gonna have a different, that we have a different personnel, in terms of the structure of the houses, how they look on the outside and things like that. I mean, that's my long time goal in real estate.
It's
I'm here to stay.
interesting because I interviewed last year a lovely female student from San Antonio. She had been licensed a few years, doing well. She opened her own business in Laredo as well as the San Antonio area, but her goal was to be a developer,
Yeah,
and her reasoning was very similar to yours.
that's my,
Mhm,
just to build things that are to be more exciting and more personal in the game.
mhm.
I
More
mean,
personal.
yeah, the game, and
Yeah, you'll do it.
oh yeah, definitely.
You'll do it.
I know one thing
Oh my
about
gosh, I love that.
yes, well,
You look at me and go, "Yes, definitely."
it's a lot of opportunity, and the only thing that can stop you is you stopping yourself.
Is yourself.
Yeah, you stop
You should
yourself.
have been in sales ages ago, DJ.
Well, It's never too late.
S-
It's never too late.
It's
Never too late.
never too
Yes,
late.
ma'am. And you know, this is a country where dream come true. I'm glad, and I'm so happy to be here and to be, you know, alive this time to see these things happening.
Well, you're adding a lot to
Yes, ma'am.
the Houston area.
Yes, ma'am.
You definitely are helping so many people that need your help.
Definitely.
I love it that he took what was a little bit confusing for himself, so to speak, coming here to buy home and understand about real estate. And so you've taken that to assume others are like you. So now I'm going to really let them know the process before we ever go out and look at a house.
Definitely.
And that is so smart
Yes, ma'am.
because you don't want people to be frustrated or stressed out and have that big question mark when within a short interview in the office, you can relieve that concern from them.
You know, like I told you, you know, Rita, is that if I'm in a contract, the goal is to close. The
Mhm.
contract is just a piece of paper. If you're on a new build, you know, you can be terminated easily and probably lose your option fee or whatever. That's not my goal. My goal is to close.
Just to close.
That's the goal.
And it should be everyone's goal.
Yeah, and that is when real estate happens. And like I
Mhm.
told you, I don't put my clients in a state of confusion. I make sure that we can close before you go on a contract. Contract doesn't matter if you can't close.
Exactly. And that's the pre-qualifying,
Yes, ma'am.
and that is verifying that what you're going to be looking at is something they can afford.
We got to make sure that we're not in too much of a house.
Mhm.
Everything's got to be on point, such that, you know, we close less than 30 days. That's the goal, and it's been working. You know, I let them know, hey, you cannot lie. You gotta let me know exactly what's going on, so that this process will be seamless. Because by the time they start digging into you, do you have child support? I gotta know. Are you divorced? I gotta know. We have to know all these things and make sure that, you know, because, you know, talking to a lender at the end of the day, it's like you writing a story. If you ever thought about it in that manner, you know, people have gaps in their employment. Okay, what happened? It's a story.
Exactly.
Gotta tell the story, you know. I know you have, you know, for instance, you know, you have people that are travel nurses. You know, they've worked COVID. They've made tons of money for the last 2 years. Some of them are taking, you know, this year. I mean, I know a guy that's been off for the past 4 5 months. You know, I mean, he's the
Well, and they're buying second
yeah,
homes.
yeah,
More fun. Having
yeah.
more fun.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, you know, somebody like that, I
Mhm.
mean, they can buy. I mean, you know, the bank's gonna ask, hey,
Mhm.
you know, how come you've been home this time? I mean, it's a story. Man, I've worked my ass off, you know, the last 2 years.
Right.
You know, it's time right now to make sure that, you know, I want to buy this home and I'm able to buy it. It's just a story. And at the end of the day, everything works out fine. You know,
He is walking the walk and talking the talk, and that I'm just going to bring something forward that I'm sure you've thought about, but you didn't follow through in 2015 because at that point you said, I need insurance for my family, and I really needed to have more of the secure feeling of a salary.
yes.
And then a few years later, you said, no, I can do that. I will do that. You are doing that.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is a huge fear
That's
to move from a salaried position to being your own boss and being an entrepreneur. But at the same time, at the end of the year, at the end of the month, the end of the day, you get to say,
It's
you
work.
did it.
Yes, ma'am.
You did it. You're your own boss.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
did
So, so at the end of the day, you know, it's always scary moving from the known to the unknown. Right? When you have a salary structure,
Mhm,
you know, in 2 weeks or in a month, as the case may be, you're going to have an income coming in. But when you're on the sales side, you know, you only get paid when the deal is done.
when you
It's
make
consummate. Yes, ma'am. That's when you get paid. But I mean, looking back, you know, I was telling myself I should have ventured it since 2015. I mean, it's no, I mean, you know, I've never, I mean, thank God for it, right? Thank God for His grace. I mean, I've never
Mhm.
have any cause to regret my actions of being in real estate. I mean, it's one thing this is one of the
You're a
best things
very
that's happened.
positive person.
I love it.
And to the point that many people say, well, I'm going to sort of try real estate. I'm going to keep my other job on the side. And usually, if what we hear is their regret is they didn't just jump in with both feet and just say, no, this is my new career. I'm just going to do it. And that's what you did.
Definitely, definitely. And that's one thing my broker told me, and I have to give him two credit for that. He was like, "Hey, I hope you're doing this full time." I said, "Yes, I'm doing it full time." And it's been rewarding, and the rewards are unlimited. You're the only person that can cap you is yourself. The more you put in the work, the more results you have. Very
Exactly.
interesting.
The more hours you put in, productive hours,
That's right.
the more work you put in, the more you get out of it for yourself. And I was complimenting you because after or during your first year, you capped out at your company
I
top
did.
level.
Yeah.
And that's
My
huge,
first
and
year.
you're to be congratulated.
That's my first year I capped. I'm already capped, now, and I see after 5
Excellent.
months ago. Yes.
Excellent. And if you want to know more about DJ, he's at Fairdale Realty.
Yes, ma'am. I'm a Fairdale Realty in Kelly. I think
And
that's that price. Yes, ma'am.
and he is also going to be, and this interview will be on YouTube right after it's in the classroom, so all of our students can see it again and again. I think they will want to see your interview just because of the positivity that you demonstrate, DJ.
Yes, ma'am.
You just have so much to actually give to people by saying, look where I've come from, look what I'm doing. And if I can do it, you can do it. And that inspires me and it inspires everyone.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You are so welcome.
Yes,
You are
ma'am.
so welcome.
Yes, ma'am.
So, also, we will have DJ on a podcast. We are so excited at Champion School of Real Estate to have over 5,500 subscribers on our podcast. You can go to Real Estate Superstars today.
Okay.
And it's on Spotify, Google. Absolutely, you will enjoy. This particular hour will be brought down to a 20 to 30-minute interview on our podcast.
Appreciate it.
So thanks for being with us today.
It's a pleasure. I appreciate it.
And as well, I take all of our wonderful superstars, DJ, and we put a chapter in a book. We will be adding to our first and second volume to our third and fourth volume coming up. You will be a chapter in the book on how you got to be where you are today in a short time. So, Successful Tendencies of Real Estate Champions, you can get it on our website. Thank you for being with me today, sir.
Thank you, Rita. I appreciate you. It's a pleasure.
And do me one last favor.
Yes, ma'am.
Say your name in your beautiful dialect to everybody the right way.
Okay, so my name is Ayodeji. First name Ayodeji, Ayodeji. And my last name is Bamijoko, Bamijoko. I go by DJ just to make it easy and simple for everybody.
Beautiful name, professional fella. Thank you for being one of our champions. And I just wish you the best of luck in the future. But it's not luck, it's work.
Work, yes, ma'am.
And you're doing the work. So the sky is the limit. Congratulations.
Appreciate you so much. And thanks for giving everybody the platform to tap into this tremendous, wealth of knowledge. I'm mostly grateful.
It is the most amazing career that we have, those that work at Champions, for Champions, to be able to see wonderful people from all over the world like yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Come in, change their lives, and they actually give us just a little part of the credit, but all of the credit is most definitely to our student.
Right.
But thank you so very much. We want everyone to succeed and be a DJ.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
See you next time. Bye-bye.